Hello everyone, welcome to the another session of class 12 NCERT economics. So in the previous class we have discussed about who is the consumer, what are his characteristics and what is the approach, how to study consumer behavior. We discussed what is consumer behavior analysis and what are the constraints he faces like fixed income and variation or fluctuation in the prices of commodities. And then we discussed what are the approaches to study consumer behavior. In that, utility approach and indifference approach. So in under utility approach we discussed what is the meaning of utility and what are the types of utility. If you remember, utility is the power of a commodity to fulfill the desires or needs of a consumer, and types of utility: initial utility, marginal utility and total utility. So these are the types of utility. So let us continue with that. So we discussed that we have two approaches to study consumer behavior. One is cardinal approach and the second one is ordinal approach. So what is the meaning of cardinal approach? Right, here we say that, or the economists who developed this approach, they said that the utility or the satisfaction derived from the consumption of any commodity can be expressed in terms of numbers. Right, numerical expression of satisfaction derived from a consumption of any commodities. So it is called as utils. They given a name saying that utils. Utils means expressing your satisfaction in terms of numbers. So how do you do that? How can you express satisfaction in terms of numbers or in numerical values? Yes, you will understand. So do you give movie ratings out of 5? If you are asked to give a rating for any famous movie or any movies for that matter, right, you will give one number based on your satisfaction. If you are completely satisfied, you say that 5 on 5, right, or you will say 4, 3, 2, 1. What does that mean? So if you say 1, that means you are least satisfied or you are very much less satisfied with that movie. Even during when you have lunch or food, anything in your restaurants, what do you give? You give ratings in the end. They ask you to give ratings, right? For out of 5. If you rate more than 4, that means you are happy. If you rate somewhere around 3, that means quite average. It is not that good or not that bad. If you give 1, 0 or anything less than 3, that means the food was average. So this is nothing but numerical expression of your satisfaction. That is called as cardinal approach. And we have one more approach called ordinal approach. Here, economists who developed ordinal approach, they rejected the theory of cardinal approach, saying that satisfaction cannot be expressed in terms of numbers, or even if they express it is not the exact value which you can give to the satisfaction. So they said consumers can rank or give preferences of their satisfaction, consumption of any commodities. They cannot give the exact value. So they rejected this and said consumers can give ranks. Let's say if I give you 2 commodities or 2 products like ice cream and chocolate. If I tell you to give preference, if I tell you to give ranking or numbers, you may say 10 out of 6, out of 10 out of 8, how much ever you feel satisfied. So in ordinal approach, what you do is you can express the preference. If I give you 2 commodities like ice cream and chocolate and tell you to make one choice, then if you like ice cream, you say I will prefer ice cream over chocolate, or if you are a lover of chocolate, you say I will prefer chocolate over ice cream. So this says preferences. Here consumer is not giving any numerical value to his satisfaction, to express his satisfaction. He is just preferring or giving preference. Right. In India, one election takes place like this. You have to mention in the comment which election takes place giving preference. Right. In any other local elections or assembly elections, you give direct vote. One vote per single voter. You will say I will vote to this person. But there is an election in India in which voters will give preference. They will not say he is my candidate or I am voting for him. They will have a list of candidates. In that they will give preferences. He is my first preference, he is second, third, like that. Comment below which election is that. Right. I think now we understood the basic difference between cardinal approach and ordinal approach. So now let us move to the important topic of your economics. If you are an economic student, wherever you go, they will ask you the question of this, related to this. They say, please explain me law of diminishing marginal utility. If you are able to explain this theory or this law, that means you have studied economics properly. This is the most basic and most important topic in economics. So what is the meaning? First tell me the English meaning. You have to learn or understand word by word. What is the meaning, English meaning of diminishing? Diminishing means something, even if you don't know the meaning, it sounds something like something is falling, right? Diminish, falling down or decreasing. Diminishing means decreasing, right? Both falling down or decreasing. We have studied what is the meaning of marginal utility under the types of utility. There are three types. One is initial utility, total utility and marginal utility. So what is the meaning of marginal utility? Additional satisfaction derived from consumption of additional unit of commodity, right? If you are having one ice cream and if I tell you to give under using cardinal approach to rate that ice cream, you will say I am satisfied, out of 10 I am satisfied, I will give 8, right? And again, if I give you second cup of ice cream and tell you to rate, you may give, if you like that ice cream, now you might have completely satisfied and you can say I will give 10 on 10. So what is the marginal utility here? Total utility is for first cup of ice cream you are giving 8, then 10. That means total utility is 18. So what is marginal utility? Marginal utility means your additional satisfaction you are getting from the consumption of additional unit. So by first unit you are getting 10 and by second you are getting by first you are getting 8 and second you are getting 10. So the difference between the two, right, that is marginal utility. So law of diminishing marginal utility says that as you keep on consuming the same commodity repeatedly again and again without any time gap, what happens to the marginal utility? It starts falling down. For example, we will go by this, okay. So this law was first developed by Heinrich Clausen. He was a German economist and then it was later completely developed by Alfred Marshall, who is also called as father of scientific economics. He came up with the law, demand and supply theory, law of diminishing marginal utility. These are his important works, right? So what is the definition of law of marginal utility? It says that when a consumer repeatedly consumes the same product, the marginal utility derived from each additional unit starts decreasing. The marginal utility will keep on increasing for initial few consumption, repeated consumption. After a certain point, you will feel reach the saturation level, and you might feel not to consume it again and again. So the utility or the additional satisfaction which you will derive from the additional unit will start decreasing. With the example, we can see that so that you will understand it completely. But for this law, you have certain assumptions to make. First thing is you should be a rational consumer, right? What is the meaning of rational consumer? Rational consumer means a consumer who makes logical decisions. Understood? He is a rational consumer. He should be mentally stable, normal person. And the consumption should be continuous. There should not be any gap. If you eat one ice cream in the morning, one in the afternoon and one in the night, what happens? It will give same level of satisfaction or even more, right? If you keep on eating ice cream one after the other continuously, what happens? After 3, even if you are a big ice cream lover, after 5, 10, you will start feeling enough, right? That means that marginal utility starts to reduce. So that is the second assumption you have to make. And the third is the prices should be stable. Let's say you are getting an ice cream, cup of ice cream for 10 rupees, okay, and after 2 ice creams, a shopkeeper will tell you, now because you have eaten 2, I will give for 5 rupees. What you will do, even if you don't like it, you will buy it because the price has decreased. You know that the normal rate is 10 rupees, now you are getting it for 5 rupees. So what you do, you will take 2 more cups or 3 more cups and have it. So the marginal utility will not reduce because the price has given you that satisfaction, not the taste of ice cream. And homogeneous units. The units or the products, commodity should be homogeneous. Homogeneous means same alike, like alike. It should not change in taste, color, texture, whatever it might be, right? For example, if I tell you to eat the same flavor of ice cream, 5 or 10 continuously, you will start feeling enough. If I change the flavor, first I will give you vanilla, second strawberry, then third chocolate, after blackcurrant, what will happen? Your margin satisfaction will not fall down. Utility of that ice cream will not fall down. It will keep constant, or it might increase because you are tasting different flavors. So you will not feel enough or saturated. And the last assumption is unchanged taste and preferences of a consumer. While consuming these commodities continuously, your taste or preference should not change. What happens if it changes? Let's say you don't like vanilla ice cream. After one cup, you may start feeling, okay, this is good, the taste is good. What happens? You will take one more and you like it more. What happens? You take one more. Like that, you will keep on adding if your taste changes and also the preference. So these are the assumptions to make. To the law of diminishing marginal utility, to understand that, or to for that to be felt true, then these assumptions should be made. Without these assumptions, the law will not be correct. So there are few exceptions. There are exceptions for everything, right? So similarly, for law of diminishing marginal utility also there are exceptions. Miser means one who saves money, or one who don't like to spend money. For him, saving money, even if he saves more and more money, his satisfaction will keep on increasing. It will not decrease after a certain point. It will keep on increasing because his nature is like that. His aim is to save more money. Miser means in Kannada we call jipuna. And hobbies. Let's say you have a hobby of collecting coins or any retro things. What will happen? Even as you collect more and more, your satisfaction will keep on increasing. It will not fall down. Even after a point, it will keep on increasing because it is your hobby. For example, photography. As you take more and more photos of wildlife photography, if you are a wildlife photographer, as you take more and more photos, your satisfaction from that additional photo will not fall down. It will keep on increasing because it is your hobby or passion. And third one is addictive substances. For example, alcohol, any tobacco products. Even after consumption of multiple units, your satisfaction will keep on increasing. That is why they become addictive. They will not stop it. Why? Because their satisfaction will be increasing. It will not decrease. If it decreases, automatically they will stop. They will not consume such addictive substances. And fourth one is money. We all know how important it is. So as you have more and more money, no one will say that's enough for me. Even Ambani does not say. Even if he is the richest person in this continent, he has not stopped, or he does not say enough, I don't want money anymore, right? And valuable items like gold, all these things, it will keep on increasing because it has a value. You can sell it and it can be used, or it can be stored, all those things. So what are the uses of studying law of diminishing marginal utility? It will help in pricing strategies. So I think you might have come across on streets or in malls or super bazaars, wherever it is, supermarkets, all those things. They'll say if you buy one coconut, it is 40 rupees, and if you buy 3, we'll give it for 100 rupees. So what can be the reason? The reason is law of diminishing marginal utility. The utility, the benefits which you derive from the first coconut will be more. As you use the second coconut, it will be less. As you use the third coconut, it will further reduce. So you need only one coconut. If you have a family of 4 or 5 people, if you want to prepare something out of coconut, one is enough, right? But they have to sell you more, and they know that you need only one, but still they want to sell more because they want to earn profits, all those things. So what they do, if you buy only one, 40 rupees, and even you know that you need only one. Because they are selling 3 for 100 rupees, you will buy additional units. He will sell at 100 rupees because he knows that your benefits which you derive from second and third is less compared to first. So he will push his product by reducing his price. So this strategy is used based on law of diminishing marginal utility. And the second one is consumer choices. The same example applies for that. You choose it, you choose any commodities, purchase any commodities based on how much satisfaction you derive from that commodity. And progressive taxation. We have different types of taxation. One is progressive, second is regressive, third is proportional. Progressive means as your income increases, the tax will also increase. Regressive means ulta of progressive. As your income increases, the tax will decrease. The tax rate, what is imposed on your income. Okay, proportional means same tax for everyone. Even if you are earning 10,000 rupees, you have to pay the same tax. Even someone is earning 1 crore rupees, he has to pay the same tax. So progressive taxation is based on using law of diminishing marginal utility. Why? How? The additional benefit which is brought by the money, additional money or more money will be less. Okay. To survive, how much you need? 30,000, 50,000 rupees per month, or else let's say you are enjoying every weekends, all those things, 1 lakh. What if your package is 50 lakh rupees, 60 lakh rupees? What do you do with that? The first initial 10, 15 lakhs will have more value compared to the later 35 to 40 lakhs, right? So that money will bring less benefits or less satisfaction to you. That is why you spend it for some pets, luxury cars, luxury watches, bags, all those things, right? Even though the bags utility is just keeping or storing your stuffs, you buy it for 1 lakh, 2 lakhs, 5 lakhs rupees. If the 100 rupees bag also does the same function, that also does the same function, but the quality might differ. So the additional money, the additional benefit what you are getting from that extra money will be less. That is why progressive taxation is imposed using this law. And business operations like hiring. Let's say there is a piece of work which requires 2 people. If you are a clever businessman, you have to hire one, because you have to push that one person to do beyond his potential. What if I hire 3 persons in place of 1 or 2? What has happened? The efficiency of those people working will reduce, because they know this requires only 2 people, but we are 3, so we can chill for some time and work for the left time, right? All these are the uses of law of diminishing marginal utility. Now let us see how the law of diminishing marginal utility looks in graphical representation of law of diminishing marginal utility. So for example, I have taken these numbers. These are the units. Okay, there are 7 units. Let's say ice cream only. Okay, and after consuming one ice cream, you got the satisfaction or the utils of 20. After 2, 35, 45, it goes on. Okay, and this is marginal utility. For that, in the last video, I told you about the formula. How is it calculated? TUN minus TUN minus 1. That means, see, for first unit it is 20, and marginal utility is also 20 for the first unit, because there is no previous unit consumed. For the second unit, you have to, this is TUN and this is TUN minus 1. So 35 minus 20, the difference between 2, 15 is your marginal utility. Then 45 minus 35, 10. See what is happening here. Similarly, you will do applying this formula, you will do it. What is happening here? The marginal utility is getting reduced or diminishing. At certain level, it went to 0. That means the consumer who is consuming the additional unit is not getting any satisfaction. Okay. After that, it went negative. That means, imagine a situation, you have eaten 10 ice creams in a row, and after eating 11, you will vomit. Okay. That is negative marginal utility. So if we plot this on a graph, this is how it looks like. So here are the units consumed. Here it is utility. So after this is total utility, we'll plot this. First you will get 20 utility, then 35, 45, 50. Here it has reached the point of saturation. This is what we call the highest point, highest utils or highest satisfaction a consumer derived from the consumption of ice cream. This is highest. After that what happened? It start decreasing. The utility or the satisfaction which you derived will start decreasing. So this is total utility. This graph represents total utility. This is marginal utility. For the first unit consumption, you will get 20. After second, you will get 15. I think it's 15 or something. 15. Then 10. Then it goes to 0. Then minus 5, minus 10. But you can see here, when the total utility was maximum, at that point, the marginal utility reaches 0. Understood? Then after that, when total utility starts declining, the marginal utility goes negative. Whenever at any point in this graph, even if you take any other numbers also, when it will be total utility will be highest, at that point only marginal utility becomes 0. When it starts declining, marginal utility goes negative. So this is called as negative utility, and this is 0 marginal utility. I think you have understood by this graph.